Welcome into Wager Talk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Brian Leonard of WagerTalk.com and Matt Josephs, Mid-Major Matt from SportsMemo.com. We're talking Pac-12 Saturday night action here. This one on ABC, 7:30 kick. We got Stanford at the number 12 ranked Oregon Ducks. We're seeing the Ducks -10 at home favorites here, Matt. 51 being the total. Pac-12 kicking off, man. What are you thinking here, Stanford versus Oregon?
Well, I appreciate you going to the mid-major guy for the conference that's rapidly heading towards mid-major status here with the Pac-12. To me, it's a game that it's more so who's not playing than who is playing for me. When you look at Oregon and you see all the defensive backs who have opted out, and you see Penei Sewell who opted out, meaning Oregon's going to start with a brand new offensive line. You've got a Mario Cristobal who's basically saying, yeah, I'm not telling you who's going to be the starting quarterback. Now, granted, I'm assuming the starting quarterback knows who it is in Oregon, but he's trying to play some sort of gamesmanship here. There's a lot of question marks here. On the Stanford side, you've got a solid running back and a good group of wide receivers, but this is an offense that scored more than 27 points just twice. 11 players transferred in the offseason. 2 others are in the transfer portal. They lose Colby Parkinson. They lose KJ Costello, Walker Little. A lot of guys are gone. I know it's not exactly fashionable to say that I'm not going to play anything yet here, but I think this is a good live betting opportunity. I want to see who's under center. I want to see how the Oregon offensive line looks early on. I want to see how Stanford's defense looks early on. I feel like if you get a quarter in the books here, then you can kind of get an idea. So to me, this is the perfect live betting game because there's just so many questions that you have to answer. Why bother answering them before the game? At least get a quarter under your books, and then you'll have some of them hopefully answered.
If you're watching on Wager Talk YouTube, which I know most of you are, let Matt have it on in the comments below. If you're a Pac-12 fan, that's more than acceptable for us here at the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Brian, getting you in here, man. What are you thinking Saturday night, Stanford versus Oregon?
Yeah, Matt must have been reading my notes because he's talked about everything I wanted to talk about for Oregon. Yeah, you lose an NFL caliber quarterback. You lose guys in the defensive backfield that are now playing in the NFL. After the Sewell opt-out, now they've got no offensive line that has any experience there, no starters. That is a concern, especially early in the game. You talked about maybe doing a live bet. Maybe a first half bet is probably the way to go here, because anytime you've got a new quarterback with a new offensive line, they're going to come out and struggle early on. And you talked about all the opt-outs and the transfers. This entire conference, because they started so late, a lot of the key players in this conference who wanted to go on and play in the NFL, they're gone. They transferred to other conferences to try to get a chance to play this year. So it's going to be an interesting year coming out of the Pac-12. And, you know, after all these players that have been off and newer in the system this year because of all the transfers and all the opt-outs, we're going to see basically a different type of game. I usually like to back teams coming off a bad season for the program, and that was Stanford. 4-8 last year. You go back the last decade, they never have a losing record. This is a team who's got a great fan base. They get great recruiting. And I usually look for those teams to bounce back strong, especially in the first game of the year after having a bad offseason and keep it in their mouths. And they've been tasting that all year long. Everybody's saying Stanford's done. Now they got a chance to play a ranked team, which at this point, I don't know how you can rank Oregon at number 12 after losing what they have. We'll see what happens. But I think Stanford plus the points here is the way to go. I believe the money's coming on Stanford early in the week. I think the first half is probably the better way to go here with Stanford, and that's where I'm going to put my money.
Okay, looking first half Stanford. We got the full game. You can catch the Cardinal at +10 on the road in Autzen. So for Brian Leonard on Twitter at @BLeonardSports, Matt Josephs on Twitter at @MidMajorMatt. Check him out, sportsmemo.com, and Brian on WagerTalk.com. Guys, we got the $199 special there for the month of November, college football and the NFL. Both of these guys, great selections. Also, remember, $2 Tuesday if you're looking to try out either site. Tuesday's a great day to do it with the hottest handicappers top play, discounted to just $2 at both SportsMemo and WagerTalk.com.